late, but it's all good, y'all. I appreciate y'all that's gonna be watching this back. Um, at this 3 o'clock show, you know how we do. We don't play no games. Let me get my gear fresh. You know what I'm saying? Let me get my gear fresh. See that true? Because we true to our religion for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. Hold on. Hold on. Oh man, oh man. I hope everybody's doing good on this Friday special. I don't know if I'm gonna do an album review today, because I know I talked about doing album reviews on Friday. What's going on with it, King? Peace, bro. Peace, 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 peace. Looking at distressed houses. Right on, brother. Right on. Yeah, 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 yeah. Follow that process. You can get a script online as well if you don't know what to say. If you're trying to find your cash buyer, just go ahead and Google that bad boy. You know what I'm saying? And then go ahead and go through the process. Don't rush it. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing. You feel me? But don't rush the process and go ahead and get you some money. You know what I mean? I am doing well. Friend, I appreciate both of y'all being here. I appreciate everybody that's gonna be watching this back. Let's see, we at 127. So YouTube be kind of like playing with the numbers and stuff. Like, I'll get like this many people commenting, but then it'll only show me like one person in here. I mean, so my magic number is usually about 3 for me to get started with the conversation. But for the purposes of this, I'm gonna wait till about 2 minutes, 30 seconds to really get started with the convo. But I do hope that both of y'all, everybody that's gonna be watching this back, and for those, and then for y'all that's in here right now, I appreciate y'all being here. We got a nice conversation going on right now. I hope your Friday is real, real, real good though, because like the Hunger Games is real. You know what I'm saying? What else is real? Personal discipline and choices are real. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. What else is real? Man, there's a lot of stuff that's real that we kind of like gloss over or looked over as being like kind of like fictitious or whatever the case may be, and is like not necessarily the case. Let me see what you're talking about. I'm showing one for me too. I think it's just me. Yeah. Anyways, let's see. We have about 240. Welcome in, everybody. I appreciate y'all being here. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. We are the biggest, by the way. I go by the name SOLARMAN, and I'm literally out of here. We bigger than everybody. Wiz Khalifa. Let's start with Wiz Khalifa. Y'all know Wiz Khalifa, right? We smoke to get high. We just having fun. We don't really care who sees. I know Wiz Khalifa, Cushion OJ. He raised a lot of y'all in the 2010s. I personally never really been too much of a fan of his music, but hey, I'm not a hater. He just recently got arrested in Romania, and he got sentenced to 9 months in prison in Romania because of his habits. So what I wanted to talk about with Wiz Khalifa in particular is, are your habits worth your experience everywhere you go? Because he's such addicted to this, and I'm gonna use weed as a drug because it is a drug. He's so addicted to his drug, which is marijuana, that he risked his freedom in order to do his habit. How y'all feel about that? How you feel about that? Yeah, I agree with y'all. Nothing is worth my freedom. Nothing is worth my mental. Nothing is worth none of that. You know what I mean? Nothing is worth none of that. None of that. Let's see. Hey, I made a blah 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 blah. No, that's not what I'm talking about right now, bro. But I appreciate you sharing that. Anyways, back to the topic. Wiz Khalifa just got arrested in Romania, y'all. Normally, I don't care about no rappers. I could care less about another man's situation. I could care less about, because it has nothing to do with me. And if you don't have enough self-discipline to know the local laws as you travel, that's on you as well. I don't care. But I do believe that this is a good teaching opportunity, just like that last conversation, or one of the previous conversations that we just had about the Michigan football coach who could not control his sexual desires. So he, so he made a mistake like that as well. And because he could not control his sexual desires, he lost his job, his family, his reputation, and he lost his freedom as well. So that's the same thing about what's going on with Wiz Khalifa. Wiz Khalifa has now lost his freedom. He didn't lose his reputation. If anything, this is going to amplify his album sales, his music sales, and stuff like that. But what I want to also tell y'all is that the reason that he's in jail too is because he's no longer a popping artist. Had he been still a mainstream A-list, he's still ever A-list caliber because of his name and who he's associated and attached with, in his catalog. But he's not popping. So since Wiz Khalifa is not popping, he doesn't have that label support. He's an independent artist at this time. I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if y'all know that. Wiz Khalifa is an independent artist at this time. He's fulfilled his Illuminati contracts, and now he's allowed to be a free artist. And because he's fulfilled his Illuminati contracts, he still has the relationships that he built when he was signed to a major record label. He still has the connections, but he doesn't have the support of the Illuminati to get him out of this situation. Like a Kodak Black, like an NBA young boy, like who else? Well, them they're really the main two. Tekashi 6ix9ine. You know what I mean? He doesn't have the support of the major labels to get him out of this situation. So now he's about to suffer. He's about to suffer. He's about to realize he's going to be a celebrity in this jail. So don't worry about him per se like that. But just like Brittany Griner, what about these people makes them think that what they do right here, they can do anywhere on the planet? Because they've been getting away with a certain type of behavior for so long because no one's ever held them accountable. They've been getting away with a behavior for so long because no one's ever checked their behavior. Welcome in, everybody. Yeah. Like the live, fire. Don't forget to double tap the screen. It's easy to do. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe when you get a chance. I appreciate y'all being here, but I'm not going to focus on that because when I focus on that, it kind of, sometimes it makes me sad. You know what I mean? I don't want to focus on that. I just want to focus on the topics. So I appreciate you saying that. But how do you feel about somebody not being able to control themselves enough to go make some money abroad? So I've been kind of like doing some self-reflection, y'all. Y'all know me. Y'all seen some of my videos. I smoke weed. I smoked weed. That's the thing that I do. I don't care for drinking. I don't pop pills. And, I don't put nothing up my nose. Weed. That's me. It has been me. But the more and more I think about it, and the more and more I get, so I've been sober now for, going on. It's only probably been a week now from weed. But anyways, the more and more, what made me do this, and usually, sometimes, we take breaks and stuff like that there. But what's made me step away from this is that I can't have anything that controls my thinking. And what I've noticed about marijuana is that I kept wanting to come back to it. Like I'll get home from doing some errands. All right, I'm about to roll up. I wake up. All right, I'm about to do my little routine, and then I'm about to roll up. All right, I just ate. Okay, I'm about to roll up. Oh, I got a couple hours to spare. All right, bet I'm about to roll up. You know what I mean? Like I don't want anything to control my thinking and my habits. And then furthermore, I know that I'm only going up. I'm only on the way up. I'm only going up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. You know what I'm saying? I'm only going up. So since I know I'm only going up, and I'm going to be in a position to where I'm going to be able to travel this world just based off my name and just by being myself, I got to sit back and think about, hey, everybody don't play like the U.S. You can kind of get away with doing stuff in the U.S. just because, stuff is just a little bit more relaxed. You know what I mean? Stuff is just a little bit more relaxed. You know what I mean? But everybody doesn't have the same sentiments about anything, about drugs like the U.S. Even though we prosecute at a higher rate for non-violent, we prosecute at a higher rate for non-violent things. So since that's the truth, let me fix that just a little bit. Okay, cool. I think I like that angle right there. What y'all think? I like that angle right there. Freezes my live, and then like, can you guys still hear me? Let me know if you guys can still hear me. Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, cool, 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 smooth. All right, so what? So the reason I'm stopping smoking weed now, and I'm probably with the Lord's strength and the strength of the Almighty, I'm gonna stop smoking. Period. Is because I don't want anything outside of what I want to do to control me. You know what I mean? Like I need to be able to sit alone with myself and just be comfortable with myself, just being myself. Sober minded. Yes, I used to think sober is like lame and stuff like that there, but kind of like being inebriated all the time is lame. You know what I mean? Kind of like having to have something to put into my body to calm me is lame. You know what I mean? Like that's lame. So now that I realize that that's lame, I'm not gonna do that anymore. You know what I mean? I don't want to be Wiz Khalifa. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be a Wiz Khalifa. That's retarded. That's retarded. That's dumb. You just messed up a whole tour. You just messed up a bag. You just took yourself away from your son for 9 months because you can't control yourself. What other things can these people not control? Well, we're learning that these people, when they get a certain amount of money, again, it can happen to all of us. So this is a learning lesson for all of us because we don't have Wiz Khalifa money. We don't have the Michigan head football coach money. We don't have Jeffrey Epstein money. We don't have Trump money. We making it. You know what I'm saying? So what we need to learn from this and unpack from this is that self-control is literally that. Is self-controlling yourself. It's being able to control yourself wherever you go and whoever you're around. Because at any and all times, there can and there will be consequences. And what this guy is learning right now is that consequences don't exclude you just because you're a star. 9 months away from my son because not even something, not even like an altercation I got in, where I was defending myself, or not like, I just got discriminated against. No. This is something I could have controlled. But because I'm a star and because I'm addicted, I've ruined an opportunity. And I've lost the respect of my son a little bit. You don't think his son don't know about his habits? Seeing his rock star parents, his mother's got tattoos on her forehead. Not that she came up with that. She's gotten that tattoo on her forehead since she's had her son, since he's been of speaking age. And then his dad, got tattoos all over his face. Ain't nothing against tattoos, but like, these people can't control themselves. And it's kind of distasteful. Wiz Khalifa, you should be ashamed of yourself. So, if we're learning anything, for those of you that's going to be watching this back, if you learn anything from this, just take away from this that it's not worth it. And if it controls your thinking, and if you feel like you can't go without it, that's something you need to die to. That's a part of yourself that you need to die to. That's what that means. That's exactly what that means. You need to die to it. I'm on my way to Wiz Khalifa money. I'm not there yet. I'm on my way. Trust me, I'm on my way. But if you can't control, if you feel like you can't go without it, you feel like you can't go without sex, you feel like you can't go without weed, if you feel like you can't go without watching Netflix, if you feel like you can't go without it, that's a problem. You're addicted. And you should be addicted to nothing but becoming and being the best version of yourself. That's it. So, as we understand about Wiz Khalifa, he's been sentenced to 9 months in prison in Romania. Like, who? First and foremost, do you know what Europe is? Europe is a cold, desolate, danky, gray place. Especially Central Europe, Eastern Europe. That's like cold and wet and gray. Don't nobody want to be in Romania. Romanians don't want to be in Romania. You know who else got arrested in Romania for lack of self-control and living a lifestyle that they thought was, they could just get away with whatever they want? The Tate brothers. You know the Tate brothers, the ones that tell you that you're not a man because you don't make $6 million a year. You don't have four Bugattis in your driveway. That that doesn't make you a man. Those people. And you know why these people are being held accountable? Unlike something else that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about that Jeffrey Epstein list a little bit more too, because that's a good conversation. That's a good conversation. Oh, I gotta close my door. I don't like that. I can hear this TV upstairs. Hold on, I'm gonna keep talking to y'all. But what else we gonna talk about? What else we gonna talk about is the fact that I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I remember Jeffrey Epstein. The reason that these people are being held accountable, unlike the people that are included on that Jeffrey Epstein list, is because that they think that they're elite, but they're not elites. These people are not elites. They're not as important as they think that they are. Wiz Khalifa can be held accountable. The Tate brothers can and will be held accountable. A rapper will be held accountable. A celebrity will be held accountable. A Diddy will be held accountable. Until Jay-Z is no longer useful, he will be held accountable. So let's all use this as a teaching lesson. Your habits are not worth your mind. Because that's what the real story is about. These people don't have control over their minds. Because they let their desires control their thinking. This man can't do a set without smoking. He can't do nothing without smoking. Now he about to be in prison for 9 months getting sober. And he's still probably going to try to do his best because, in prison, they still get all types of stuff in prison. He still probably, he going to be a celebrity. He going to be real big. In other countries, they really celebrate these people. So he going to be in prison trying to get, he probably going to be smoking K2. K2 is synthetic weed because he can't control himself. So that brings me to my next point of people that can't control themselves. The Democrats just recently said that they're going to sue the Department of Justice because they were supposed to meet a deadline that was today where they were going to release all the Epstein files. And of course, they're not releasing the Epstein files. I think that, I believe for the next 4 years, this whole presidency, that they're not going to release those files. They're not going to do it. People, they're not going to do it. For any of you people that voted for this administration because you believe that they were going to do this, you have played yourself. Why would they do that? Their names are on it. Their names are on it. Why would they do this? So they've sifted through, there's over 90,000 photos that they have in their possession. That's what they tell us. There's over 90,000 photos. They've sifted through. The Democrats have. They sifted through about 25,000 of those photos. That's a lot of photos to look at. That's a lot of depravity to look at. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of sexually explicit photos of young men and women in those pictures. That's a lot of child porn to look at. I don't know. I wouldn't want to look at that. I wouldn't want to be on this case. Anyways. They sifted through about 25,000 photos. They got about 90,000 pictures. And they're saying Republicans and Democrats have both agreed on this part, that just because high profile people are in these photos does not indicate guilt. Are they wrong about that? No, they're not necessarily wrong about that part. I agree with that sentiment, that just because you're in the photo does not necessarily mean that you are a child predator, cannibal, kidnapper, etc. What it does mean, though, is that you associate with child predators, kidnappers, cannibals, sex traffickers. That's what it do mean. So just because you're not the one who's pulling the trigger, the person who's pulling the trigger, and that you're guilty by association. And if I had anything to do with the case, or from the public opinion, because anybody else, when you're associated with something, you're guilty. So why aren't these people guilty? Welcome in, everybody. Don't forget to double tap the screen, like, comment, share, subscribe. We are the biggest, by the way. I go by the name SOLARMAN. And right now I'm talking about how Wiz Khalifa is kind of like dumb because he couldn't control his habits and he got arrested in Romania for smoking weed because he can't live without weed. And then also I'm talking about how the Department of Justice is being sued by Democrats because they failed to meet a Friday deadline where they were supposed to where they were supposed to release all these Epstein files. That's what we're talking about right now. And I'm just like, what makes you think that they're going to release them in the get-go? When have these people ever stood on their word? Ever? You guys remember COVID? Y'all remember that, right? Where the whole world got shut down? You remember that, right? And we had to listen to these people. You remember that, right? And we could not work unless we got you remember that, right? Now, regardless of your political interests, you have to admit that COVID infringed upon everybody's rights of freedom. Everybody felt it. I kind of like that about COVID. Other than the people dying and sickness and stuff like that, the part I liked about COVID was that everybody got affected and that nobody was special. We all got treated equally, and they all and the tyranny of the world showed us exactly how they feel about all people. All of you people are slaves. You remember that though. You remember that though, right? So what I'm saying is that these people have never kept their word with anything. These people are not trustworthy in any regard. So what made you think, or what makes you think, if you voted for Trump, or if you vote for this institution, or if you believe in this institution, what makes you think that they're going to keep their word? They've never kept their word with anything. 40 acres and a mule. We still ain't got it. They've never kept their word with anything. 40 acres and a mule. We still haven't got it. So now that I understand that they're playing a political, because this is what they're doing. This is what they're doing right now, y'all. For those of y'all that's trying to peep the play, I got treated special because of unemployment. Yeah, everybody got some unemployment except me. I was still working. Everybody got treated special. I did not collect I've never collected an unemployment check. I've never had food stamps, and I'm not saying that makes me better or anything. I'm just saying, I just kept living life as normal. People kept telling me to sign up for food stamps and unemployment, but I'm like, for what? First and foremost, I don't want to answer all these questions. Actually, I did try to fill out an application one time for food stamps, and I never followed through with it because it was just too many questions, too many personal questions. Like, what you need to know this for? Side note, I got sent a check one time. You ever tried to cash a check at a check cashing place? They ask you so many personal questions. It's embarrassing. So, I say all that to say that I don't, even though, I'm on this iPhone, even though I'm on YouTube, even though you can look up me, and see my work, I don't really subscribe to, as much as I can. I don't subscribe to giving out my business just like that, just because I need something from you. It's okay. I'll suffer. I'm cool with suffering. I've suffered a lot in my life. I'm cool with suffering. You know what I mean? That's neither here nor there. Anyways, Democrats are taking the high road in the pursuit of saying, hey, look at these Republicans. They are corrupt. They're never going to release these Epstein files. Look at them. Look at these people. You think that these people are good people? You should vote for us come next election. We got your back, people. We actually gonna release the Epstein files. You know how long they've had these Epstein files? They've had them since the last administration. So what was the problem with releasing them in the last administration? Oh, right, they didn't. And then this administration said that they're going to release it, and they're not going to be like that last administration, Sleepy Joe and all them jokes. What about Sleepy Trump? I don't be hearing no Sleepy Trump jokes. These people, these conservatives like to make a lot of jokes, a lot of political jokes. I don't be seeing no Sleepy Trump memes. He's always asleep. I don't be seeing no diaper baby memes about him. What I'm saying is people are selective and they're bullies and they're only supporting of people that they like is what I'm saying. So what makes us think that these people are going to change their method of behavior just because it's a different color that's in office? Blue had access to this information first, did not release any files. Red now has access to these files. They ran their whole campaign off of being transparent in releasing the files. They have not done so. They're not going to do so because they know exactly who's in the photos, and now they're playing blackmail with each other. They're doing cleanup. Before I get to my next topic, let's see what you're talking about. You think they had to worry about COVID at the top? No, not at all. So, side note, y'all remember when COVID was going on? Do y'all remember that Fauci and people like Marco Rubio, Trump, all these people, they were still flying, not having to wear masks and stuff like that there? What's going on, man? Appreciate to seeing you here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But anyways, y'all remember that, right? Y'all remember seeing videos of Fauci and all these people before they knew that they were being live recorded. They wouldn't have on any mask. They wouldn't have any mask on. But we got to wear masks. And not saying that, there wasn't a virus that was spread out here, because it was. I would say that it was intentionally spread. A domestic violation of the biological warfare code domestically, and then also abroad. I do believe that it was a declaration of war from China as well. On both ends, I think the U.S. allowed this to happen, and I think China sent it and made it happen as well. That was the first declaration of a World War III. COVID, for sure. Are you familiar with 607 Unc? I'm old enough to and young enough to. Well, no, I'm old enough to and rich enough to. You know what I mean? I'll do with that information as you will. But anyways, no, the people at the top did not have to suffer at COVID because rules do not apply to people at the top. That's the reason that this Jeffrey Epstein list has not come out yet. It's not going to come out, people. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You don't live in the world. You don't live in the world that you think you live in. This is still high school. The cool kids are ruling. The people with the most money and the most connections have the most say so. The rule of law does not apply to everyone. The rule of law only applies to those that follow it and those that are subject to it. Me and you, we the only ones that got to follow the rule of law, not them. They didn't have to worry about that shit at the top. They was worried free during COVID, and it was planned. Yeah, it was the pandemic for sure. You and I are thinking on like terms. It was the pandemic for sure. What I'm getting at with the Democrats suing the Department of Justice is, how long are we going to tolerate manipulation? Lies and manipulation at that. I'm trying to figure out which angle I like it at. My hair look crazy, whatever angle I turn it, so I might as well, I'm gonna keep it like this. How long are we gonna tolerate lies and manipulation? To what end, to what point do we say, okay, enough is enough, bro? You people are liars. And it's obvious. It's obvious that you don't value my life. It's obvious that you don't value me as a human. Again, that's why you've labeled me as a consumer and not as a citizen. It's obvious that you don't value me. He said, hi from Albania, my nigga. Why would I respond to somebody like you? You've just insulted me. I mean, I read your comment, but, you've just insulted me. You've called me a derogative term because you think that relates to me. I'm not your friend. You don't know me. I'm not your brother. I don't know you. The first thing that you've decided to do to associate with my culture is through some bullshit because you're uneducated. You don't know anything about my people or my culture. The only thing you know is some ignorance. So you just called me a nigga. We will never be friends. We will never be brothers. Ever. Ever. I don't like you. Anyways, and I'm not going to delete your comment because I don't care. But outside of that, I just had to let you know, you're ignorant. But outside of that, the Department of Justice, the Department of Justice should have been got sued, bro. The Department of Justice has we're living in the land of illusions, people. This society is not governed off of equal protection under the law. This society is not governed by anything of substance. This place is manufactured for the elite to converse with each other, and that's it, and that's all. That's why the elites always have conferences with one another, and they talk about society and the numbers problems that we're having in the world, and how their solution to fixing the world, the same world that they're actively destroying, and intentfully destroying, their solution for this is to have less people. Well, how do you suppose that we get less people? How does that naturally happen when we already have a population that's only expanding? How do you get less people? Well, you manufacture viruses in the lab. You have global widespread outbreaks. You have accidents like the accident that just happened in Texas, where virus carrying monkeys escaped from a fallen truck that had flipped over. You have stuff like that happen. Acts of war and acts of global terrorism are committed daily. It's just about what affects us and what do we notice. So that's that. I'm not gonna keep you guys too long. I know that my 6 o'clock shows are more, they're more popping and whatnot. But I'll be liking having these conversations, and I'll be wanting to talk to y'all. I'll be having to get this stuff off my chest, because otherwise it just be sitting in my brain, and I just be like, what do I do with this information? You know what I mean? What do I do with this? You know what I mean? So that's that. Wiz Khalifa's, he's an idiot. He can't control himself. That's why he got arrested in Albania. In Romania. Same thing. This Eastern European dude who thinks he's my friend by calling me a nigga. Same place that these people are from. And I'm glad. Actually, this is a good point. This is kind of like why I don't like rap music no more. It's been like provocative. It's been, supposed to be the language and the voice of the people and all that type of stuff. But what it does is it gives excuse for people who don't know us to think they know us, and they don't know us. Those rappers, if you see them outside of a music video, they're not cool people. They're not influential people. They're lames and losers in my community. In my community, they're lames for sure. They don't get no attention, other than if they don't got these big stupid ass chains on. They don't get no attention. They're lames and losers. And lames and losers have populated the globe with culture and have made everybody think that we are one way. We're a monolith. Ignorant people have made ignorant people that think that we're a monolith. And ignorant people gonna think what ignorant people gonna think. But I'm just saying, people like Albanians and Romania, you think that they're singing Wiz Khalifa's lyrics because they relate with them? Or are they singing them because it looks cool and it has like a kind of it has a kind of rebellious nature to it, and it they don't have anything cool in their culture, so of course they got to attach to something that looks cool for them, bopping their head, my nigga. You know what I mean? That's what they're doing at these concerts. I'll be damned if I make a song and I go perform this all over the globe where people are singing the lyrics back to me, and it's a bunch of people who don't look like me calling me a nigga or singing along to nigga. I'll be damned. I'm not a fool. And I don't need friends like that. I don't need acceptance like that. Nor do I want to benefit off of the degeneracy of my people. It's abominable to me. So, kind of these people get whatever they deserve. That's why I don't give a damn about no Wiz Khalifa getting arrested in Romania because he retarded. It's his fault. It's his fault. All he do is talk about smoking weed and having fun and doing whatever you want anyway. I don't want to hear that shit. It's stupid. And it doesn't represent my people. That's it. Let's see what you're talking about. Exactly. They could have been cured all these diseases that came from all these animals. Yeah. They test on these animals with diseases, and so I guess like what would be the other way of testing out this stuff? If you don't test them out on monkeys, what's the other alternative? If you don't test them out on monkeys and rats, I suppose that because we don't want to do it on humans anymore. We used to do it on humans, up until like the 1960s. Outwardly, we used to do it on humans up until the 1960s. So what's the alternative? Because I don't think testing stuff on monkeys and animals is the right way either. It's horrible. We're horrible as a society. And there's many things that we don't talk about that we do, that we condone. That's horrible. But I don't have the answer as to what's the alternative. I say there's a cure for everything. We know that. Mainstream science knows this. The ones that, actually like a Fauci and stuff like that, they know of things that cure. But because of politics, you and I will never have access to it as long as we live in this Western civilization. You will die before you have access to that. That's just the way it goes. Where are you from? I'm from planet Earth. Nah, leave Wiz out of it. People like to smoke weed, bro. Yeah, you didn't listen to the beginning of my live, bro. I like to smoke weed too, bro. I used to, but I don't. I don't necessarily enjoy it anymore. One, because it's being decriminalized statewide. State to state, meaning that states have now figured out a way to profit off of this, and I don't want to give the state any more money. I've gotten arrested for smoking weed, so it was cool when I couldn't do it. It was cool then. Had I been allowed to do it from the get go, that wouldn't have been a problem either. But it was cool when I couldn't do it. It was kind of like a rebellious type of thing. But now that it's getting decriminalized and it's eventually going to get decriminalized federally, I don't want none of this state sanctioned, what's the word? Pasteurized marijuana product. One, because I don't know I don't know how long you've been smoking weed, but I've been smoking weed a long time. I just recently stopped, but I've been smoking weed since I was about 12, and I'm not 12 anymore. You know what I mean? Not 12, 14. And I'm not 14 anymore. So I don't know about you, but weed has definitely gotten a lot more potent since I was 14. And I don't enjoy this new marijuana. It's just too. It's that czar. It's that czar. It's that czar. It's that gas. You know what I'm saying? I don't like it. Especially if there's government regulations on it, and they're gonna start selling it like Newports. I don't want the shit anymore. And I also don't feel sorry for somebody who can't control themselves when they go abroad because of smoking weed. I got in trouble in the Philippines for smoking weed. So I didn't have any excuses for me. You know what I mean? So I don't have any excuses for this guy. You know what I mean? I don't have any excuses for this guy. He couldn't control himself. He messed up an opportunity because he's addicted to something. He's a dummy. By us, you mean black. A lot of white people are us. During slavery, we gave birth to a lot of them. I don't know what you mean by that. So you hop on live instead of researching. I don't know what you mean by that. What do you mean by that? Those last two comments, that I just read. What do you mean by that? What's going on, Joshua? Pleasure to see all of you guys here. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. We are the biggest, by the way. I go by the name SOLARMAN. Today, I'm talking about Wiz Khalifa is an idiot. He got arrested in Romania for smoking weed because he can't control his habits. The Department of Justice isn't going to is getting sued by Democrats, who's claiming a moral high ground in releasing the Epstein files that Republicans are refusing to release. But then also in the same breath, in the same token, these Epstein files have been we've had these files ever since the last administration, and they did not release those files either back then. So there's no moral high ground here. Both of these people are playing political ping pong and just having their attention go from right to left, left to right. And it's kind of like stupid at this point, because these people think you're dumb. And I'm here to tell you that you're not dumb. All you got to do is see the play and look in between. You know what I mean? These people are dumb to think that you're dumb. You know what I mean? This is dumb. This is stupid. Release the files, or just admit that you're not going to release them because there's too many high profile names on it, including yours. Because that's the truth. That's the truth. Moving forward, this is my last and final topic, but I think it's the most important, the most interesting topic that I had for this 3 o'clock episode. Moving forward, did you guys know that I thought, because you see a lot of stuff on Facebook let me tell you what happened. Did you guys know that this administration just announced that starting next summer, we're going to have something called the Patriot Games, where one tribute, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say tribute, where one male and one female from each city and district is going to compete on live television games in an athletic type of sport. Unsimilar to the Olympics, is going to focus on the youth. And each city and each district and state, is going to have one male and one female tribute. I don't know about you guys, but in the 8th grade, I read a book. We had to read this book. It was part of our assignment, but I read a book called The Hunger Games. And in the Hunger Games, they had been having games like this for hundreds of years. And then eventually, when the series of the Hunger Games started, these games had become violent. These games had become deadly. And I do believe that in the book, it says that in the beginning, the games did not start off as violent. They started off as friendly competition. You can't make this stuff up, people. Instead of releasing the Epstein files, they're focusing on having tribute games, Patriot Games. Instead of giving us universal health care for everybody to benefit, they're focused on having Patriot Games. Instead of transparency, they're focused on having Patriot Games. This is a mock of democracy. You should be ashamed of yourself if you voted for this administration. You should be ashamed of yourself. And I'm not a Democrat, but you should be ashamed of yourself if you voted for this. You should be ashamed of yourself. This is despicable. And we have 42. We got to make it to 50. But this is despicable. This is despicable. 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 So, what do the Patriot Games represent? They represent Coliseum games. They represent a means of distraction. We have already reached the Project 2025 plan, where they plan to cut away any type of civil rights legislation, or any type of legislation where it made it federally illegal to discriminate based on race, sex, or gender. Same thing, but race and sex. It made it federally illegal. They have essentially dismantled all of that type of conjecture and paperwork. They have dismantled it. So they're moving forward to a 2030 agenda. And what they got to do in order to pacify us until that time is give us a bullshit like the Patriot Games. We should all be in the streets right now saying enough is enough, bro. This is getting who do these people think that they are? Who do these people think that they are? I'll tell you who they think they are. They think that they think that they're the rulers of the world. They think that they are the authors of society. They think they are gods, and they want to watch us beat up each other and compete against each other. And you know what? People are actually going to do it. I don't have any faith that people are not going to do this. I don't have any faith that people are not going to sign up for this and sign their kids up for this. Matter of fact, I know for a fact that people are actually going to sign up for this. They're actually going to compete in this. They're actually going to try with this. They're actually going to do this. I have no faith that people aren't going to fight back against this. But hey, I could be wrong. You know, I could be wrong. Back when Black Lives Matter was going on, I didn't even think we would do stuff like that. I didn't think we would do that. I didn't think that we would push back, and demand respect. I didn't think we would do that. But I mean, you see what happened during Black Lives Matter, right? That pissed off white people a lot, and they've never forgot that. They've held grudges ever since then. They've held grudges ever since then. So, I could be wrong, but I don't think people are going to push back against this. Because they're not stopping Trump from destroying the White House and building his own ballroom and things that you and I pay taxes for. They're not stopping them from doing that. People aren't rioting, for the dismantling of all these civil rights legislations and stuff like that. People aren't rioting because we're willfully and actively attacking innocent Venezuelans in the name of killing drug pushers, but really we're trying to overthrow the regime that's going on in Venezuela. We're not rioting about that. We didn't riot about a South African coming into our country and sifting through all of our biometric and personal data and doing and hiring his own staff and doing with it as he pleases. We didn't care about that, So why would we care about this? I don't have faith. I don't have much faith in the West at this point. I don't. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I hope that I'm wrong. I'm counting on that I'm wrong, actually. And that's hope. I'm counting on that I'm wrong. I'm counting on that, with these Patriot games that we won't, that we'll protest it. Because you're not going to pacify us with Coliseum games. No, what you're going to do is you're going to give us everything that you promised in your propagated campaign speeches where you said that you ran your campaign off of transparency. That's what you're going to do. You're going to do your job. You're going to do your job. That's what you're going to do. You're going to do your job. And if you don't do your job, then we're no longer going to participate in democracy anymore. Because this is not a democracy anymore. It's just operating under the illusion and guise of a democracy. You know what I mean? So, I'm at 47 again. I got to make it to 50. So, what can we learn from all of this? For those of y'all that's going to be watching this back, and for those of us that's casually jumping in and out of the live, and we'll be watching this in the future, what you can guarantee and you can learn from this is they will only do and can only do and have only done things that we allow them to do. And what we've allowed them to do so far is we've allowed them to toy with us. The last administration said that they were going to release the Epstein files. They didn't do it. This administration said that they were going to release the Epstein files. They're not doing it. Instead, they give us Patriot games. How much longer will you go for the game? How much longer? How much longer? How much longer will we put up with the show? I don't know about you, but me personally, I'm tired, bro. And there's nowhere on the planet that I feel like I can go. That's the bad part about it. I wonder what's beyond the part of Antarctica that they say that I can't go past. That's where I want to go. Because everything else is dumb. All this other stuff is dumb. All of it is dumb. It's all dumb. I'm tired, bro. I'm tired, bro. I don't have faith in I have faith in the Lord thy God, but I don't have faith in society. Not at this time. Yeah, Jesus has appeared and will appear many, many, many times. We live out the Bible daily. We live out each part of the Bible daily. It's our personal choice, though, in order to either overthrow or surrender to tyranny. And currently, even myself, I'm surrendering because I'm not burning stuff down because I don't want to go to prison. You know, I don't want to go to prison. So, just to surmise my points for this 3 o'clock episode, real quick, I'll probably come back at 6. Is this: don't be like Wiz Khalifa. Don't let your lowest desires control your decisions. And not be able to put the cigarette down, put the blunt down. Brittany Griner, Andrew Tate, and just thinking that you're a god because of your money. Your money does not make you special because you are not from these elite royal bloodlines. You are not special then. Don't be like them. Society, the institution will humble you. Don't think you're special. The institution will humble you. It will. Don't do that. Don't think that just because you vote Democrat that makes you better than a Republican, because you're voting for a different kind of tyranny. And don't think just because you voted for this administration that you voted for transparency, because they're outwardly showing you that they are not going to be transparent with you. And then furthermore, if we allow this administration to continue with these Patriot games that they've announced are going to start commencing next year, we don't take ourselves seriously as a people or as a country, and we deserve whatever's coming to us. And that's it, and that's all for right now. I got about 1 more minute. Y'all can ask me any questions or anything relating to the topic if you like. Other than that, yeah, bro, this is where you live. You live in a movie. Like, I'm now convinced for sure now, especially seeing that Patriot game stuff is real and that actually is something. I saw it on Facebook first, and I was like, nah, that's not real, bro. That can't be real. That's a joke. That is a joke. But after seeing it on Facebook, and reading about it in accredited, unbiased news sources, I'm like, whoa. Nah, no way, dude. No. Like, that's how I was like, oh. I was like, oh. That's real. Oh. This is a simulation. This is not real. This is not real life, bro. This ain't real life, bro. This ain't real life, bro. Oh, that's how I was. I'm like, oh. I like, oh. I like, Rick and Morty is real. Oh. This last person think I'm cute, y'all. The ghost debot. Light-skinned people ain't in style. He must think I'm cute. But I don't like boys, bro. Yo. The Hunger Games was based off of true events. Yo. Whoever I did was to come up with the Patriot games needs to get open palm. You know what I'm saying? Like, smack with this, because this is how you can knock somebody out with this right here. Needs to get open pan, like Ha! Like, ha! You like boys, bro. I just told you I don't like boys, bro. Go on, bro. I don't like boys, bro. Watch out, bro. Listen to the information. Listen to the information. Listen to the information. I don't like boys, bro. Listen to the information. They got a hunger style games that's going on, and you don't even care about it. You worry about something gay because you can't control your lowest part of your nature, which is childish, because you're a child. You can't control yourself. See what I'm saying? You can't control yourself. I can control myself. The Hunger Games, the Purge, the Matrix, all three together is what reality is, bro. And it's like if you would have told me that 2 years ago, I'd been like, yeah, bro. It's just it's what reality could be, but it's not what reality is. That's what I would have said to you, and I would have argued that to a point. But now I'm like, bro, nah, that's real. That's real, bro. Oh. Ah! Yo! I'm just trying to wake up. I'm just trying to wake up. Name a time that this wasn't going on. That's a good point. I like your thinking. That's a good point. Name a time that this wasn't going on. Shit, 2000. 2000 when I was growing up. I'm a 90s baby. I'm a late 90s baby, but I'm a 90s baby. In the 2000s when I was growing up, this wasn't going on. No. The Hunger Games was not going on. The what else was going on? What else was going on? Wasn't going on. The Purge would be a crazy type of idea. That shit was not going on. That was not going on. That wasn't even a thought. Now you got different sides of the races that actually want to participate in something like that. I'll talk about that very briefly before I get off this live. But you got different parts of the races that would consider participating in something like this and killing each other because of race or because of social class. Hey, I'm all for self-defense, people. For those of y'all that's gonna be watching this back, I'm all for self-defense. I'm all for defending yourself. I'm all for not going. I don't go for nothing. You might get a couple jokes off on me, but like as far as like just like thinking you gonna really play with me, you're not gonna, you know what I mean? You're not gonna do that to my face. You know what I mean? So I say that to say not to be a tough guy. I'm not tough at all. But I say that to say, I used to believe that everything that we were taught was a lie. And it was just a conspiracy at the time. But now that I became an adult, it's like, why the apocalypse happening while I'm an adult? You know what I mean? Why the apocalypse happening when I'm an adult? It's because we were meant to be born during a time such as this, because we were meant to fight against it for the future generations. What type of legacy are we going to leave for the future generations? Is it going to be a legacy of Patriot games? Of a political system that is proven itself to be non-transparent? Or are we going to not go for it no more? I'm done going for it, bro. That's why I'm doing this. I do like talking, and I do like having these political, not political, but these conversations. But also, this is just one thing that I can do. The world has already ended many times. The world ended yesterday. The reason that you're here is because consciousness agreed to have this experience with you included. It's being reset. We shift realities daily. That's why they try to socially engineer you through Mandela effects. Telling you that Nutella was spelled this way or the Berenstain Bears was always spelled that way. They're trying to socially engineer you. That way your circadian rhythm, the way that you sleep, eat, think, wake up, is skewed up. What do I believe in? I believe this is what I believe. Real quick, let's see. We had 59. Ben said I was going to stop, but I'm gonna make it to that 60 mark. This is what I believe. I believe that we are living in a controlled and an uncontrolled, controlled environment. What do I mean by that? I believe in a firmament idea, meaning that I believe, and we talked about this last Saturday with our guest that we had, but I believe in the firmament theory in this regard, meaning that we're basically in a big lab. And essentially, the lab is like the game of life, like the Sims style type of thing, where essentially there is no rules, but the rule is that there's no rules. But it's controlled as far as, we're not allowed to just blow each other up. That's why you've had instances where nuclear warheads have been deactivated by unknown forces. And they reported that. That happens all over the world. That happens daily. Again, global acts of terrorism happen daily. So I believe that we're in a controlled, uncontrolled environment where we're allowed to live, sleep, eat, mate, war, to a degree. But there's still an element of divine intervention. So I believe that reality isn't reality because everything is just as it seems. I believe reality is reality for us because we all collectively agreed that this is what everything looks like. That's why we all live in these pockets. Like, we haven't even explored our whole planet, but we think we know where everything is. We don't. We all live in little pockets and colonies and stuff still. We're still kind of like in the Stone Age with our understanding of the world. So I believe that we're in the Stone Age of the understanding of our world. And people like Jesus Christ, as we know him today, or Yahashua, Jehovah Jireh, people like that, they kind of like understood that we don't understand, and that this, that's why he said my father's house has many rooms. This ain't it. And I'm not even talking about above. I'm talking about literally the kingdom on earth is here. This ain't it. I read a third grade book in social studies. I think it was that said people have to be in control of others, because if not, we will live in a state of nature, which is crazy logic. Yeah. That's what it has to be. That's why people think that, this is the best thing for them. Like, that's why we think that the system of going to the grocery store, voting, for this deemed demonic system is the best thing for us. That's why we think that we have to put up with Patriot games. That's why we think that we don't have any control over, realizing that essentially 99% of everybody that's in the elite institutions that govern our world are outwardly and openly demonic, even if they try to hide it. These people, we believe that we have to be ruled. It's the you believe that you have to be governed kind of theory, and as a sociologist myself, I kind of I just sit back and I'm like, they think I'm stupid. They think you really think I'm stupid. You know what I'm saying? You really think I'm dumb. You're counting on me being dumb. You're counting on other people calling me dumb. You're counting on me getting discriminated against because of my race. You're counting on me being nullified through the food, vaccines, culture, TV programming. You're counting on my pineal gland being calcified at all times. That's what you're counting on. So you believe in reincarnation. I don't believe in anything. I know that reincarnation is true. That's why Jesus came back. And he said he would return. Some things are just like, you ever seen something die, right? Right. So it may not be reincarnation in relation to my soul goes up and then it comes back as an ant. But it, as far as just as simple as, as spiritual as that, I'm sorry. But it is that though. You ever seen something die? And then when you see it die, if you notice over the process of time, it returns back, from dust to dust. It returns back to the soil. And then it becomes something else. Out of that comes fungus. Out of that fungus, beetles attract to it. Out of those beetles, birds pick it off. Out of those birds, get eaten by bigger birds. Out of that, bigger birds getting eaten by bigger birds, that bird dies and then returns to the dirt. And then becomes a tree. And then we cut that tree down and we make a house and we have babies in it. Life. You know? But what I do know, though, is that I'm not going for the Patriot games. That's where I draw the line at, people. I don't know about you, but I kind of draw the line at the Patriot games. You know, I think that's dumb. I draw the line at the Patriot games. Now you've just insulted me. Now you're just insulting now you're just insulting me personally. Now you think I'm entertainment. Literally. You think I'm just entertainment. And you know I'm at 54. I got to make it to 60. So bring on the questions. I enjoy them. But if Jesus returned back through reincarnation, he wouldn't have remembered who he was. So I get the point. But you got to think about it like this. Up until a certain point, we understood bloodlines, and we kept a very specified record of bloodlines, who was related to who came from what, whose father was what father. We kept a very specific record of that. And up until modern times, births happen way more naturally than they're happening right now. We didn't have all this light pollution, all this noise pollution, because it really traumatizes the baby, the child, as it is born. It makes us goes into a state of shock. What I'm saying to you is that it's very possible and plausible through scientific perfection of that time. Because again, old times doesn't mean dumb. It's very possible that these people were able to trace their lineage and keep track of their lineage through their birth. They were able to know their names. They were able to teach themselves about their fathers, regardless of where they got born to. So what I'm saying is that he would have known himself, because it was intended for him to know himself. He was born through a divine bloodline, from a royal priesthood. You know, these words that we read in these scripts, in these texts, in these religious texts aren't just words. You got to read between the lines. We are from a royal priesthood. That means more than just, I'm God's child. I'm God's child means more than I'm just God's child. It means I have a divine connection, and I can remember, if I decalcify this thing right here in between my eyes. You call it the third eye. It's the pineal gland. You believe in Freemason? What is there to believe? It is obvious that Freemasons are real. You can go down, if you're in the U.S., or wherever you're at in the world, you can go to your local lodge. You probably won't be able to get in, but when you enter a new, like for example, here in the U.S., when you enter a new, when you go in a city and you go to a county or a new neighborhood, as you're entering that neighborhood, on the neighborhood sign, there will be like sigils of organizations that reside there. There are Masonic lodges everywhere. There's nothing to believe. It is. It is. And we got about 3 more minutes. Go ahead, get y'all thoughts, concerns. So how y'all feel about Wiz Khalifa being dumb? Just for those of us that's gonna be watching this back, how y'all feel about Wiz Khalifa being dumb and not being able to control himself and smoking in Romania and getting himself locked up for a year, all because he couldn't put the joint down? I've messed up. I've lost jobs. I got kicked out of my home when I was in the Philippines. I got arrested for smoking. So I know too well about letting your vices control your decisions. It affected me. So I know all about what I'm talking about. It affected me. Yep. And then furthermore, outside of that, how do y'all feel about, again, let us know in the comments as you guys are watching this video back. How do you feel about the Department of Justice being sued by Democrats who are taking a moral high ground, as if that they're good people, as if they have our best interests, and saying, hey, Republicans, you need to release those Jeffrey Epstein files. Now they want to release them because they've lost control of the House. So they're just playing political ping pong. All right, how you feel about furthermore the Patriot games being introduced starting this time next year or next summer? I'm sorry, where one tribute, one male and one female youth from each district, each city is going to compete in athletic games. Because they, instead of releasing the Epstein files, this is what we get. How y'all feel about that? I don't know about you, but I kind of draw the line right there. All right, now you just think I'm a tool to be used for your amusement. And if we don't draw the line right here, it's only going to get more intense as future generations come across this information. Where do you think the Patriots games stop at? Eventually, they will turn violent and outwardly very extremely competitive. And now, instead of looking at the true enemy, we'll be looking at each other as a competition. Isn't it easy to see the play? I don't know, bro. So what do you plan to do about life? That's a bribe, but I get the question. Keep spreading the good news. The good news is that you have time to repent. And repentance is not a hey, I'm trying to convert you or anything like that. No, repentance is a pouring out of your what's the word, metaphysical essence. It's a pouring out of anything that's blocking you from having a true connection with yourself by having an honest conversation with yourself. So there's still time to repent. The good news is that you and I can still have conversations. So I'm gonna spread that good news, and I'm gonna keep my people aware of what's going on in this world, because a lot of us don't know. And even if you do nothing about it, as long as you know, that'll bring some form of awareness and some form of security to you, other than not not knowing about it. So that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep spreading the good news. That's what I'm gonna do. Well, guys, this has been a good 3 o'clock episode. I appreciate you guys being here. I will see you next time, Lord willing. Don't forget to not go for the Patriot games. Don't forget to do that. Don't forget to hold each administration accountable for what they do and what they say that they're going to do. Until next time, peace and love.